after lots and lots of podcast episodes in the past month about Trey Lance,
never stops.
the draft position.
Is this what James Harden
Trey
feels
Lance
like?
is the
We keep talking about him.
Trey Lance is pick-a-sides version, the poverty Tua. He's made himself into every single episode.
And I guess the football gods gifted us a trade for the ages, Dehls.
We did.
Trey Lance got traded to the Cowboys.
Didn't get Jonathan Taylor.
A fourth-round pick.
But you got Trey Lance.
Yeah, they got Trey Lance. I was hoping
Traded
for
for
a
the
JT
ages, you
trade.
said.
Trade for the ages is hilarious.
A trade for
fuck?
the ages. Now, Dehls, listen, you're somebody that you've been on the front lines, man. You've been saying he hasn't been given an opportunity yet. We don't know how good he is. So, Dehls, how good is he going to be for the Cowboys?
I mean,
Before Joe says anything, I've been labeled the guy who loves mid, right? That's my label. I'm here to officially give that to Joel for the fact that every single episode he has to talk about
I'm talking about
and
Trey
defend
Lance.
Trey Lance. That's gotta suck.
It's got to sting,
He's not
man.
going to play. Like, I don't even think he's QB2. Like, I'm pretty confident Cooper Rush is going to be QB2. Trey Lance is going to be QB3. I really don't know the plan here for Dallas.
That's nuts.
Like, you trade. It wasn't like a 6th or 7th round pick where it's like, fuck it, we'll give it a chance. A 4th round pick isn't like insanely high value, but it's enough investment to be like, you have to have some sort of plan for the guy, right? You don't really just trade 4th round picks for the heck of it. Like, we see kickers being traded for 6 and 7. Albert O will be traded for a 7th or whatever. So a 4th round pick tells me that there's some sort of plan here. But also, if you're Dallas and you have Dak Prescott, when is Trey Lance ever going to be in the cards? I understand that his contract is up in a couple of seasons, but Jerry Jones, who is extremely loyal, almost to a fault, to players and coaches alike, I have a hard time believing that whatever he sees in practice and training camp and preseason over the next 2 years is going to be enough to give Trey Lance a second contract now, or even pick up his 5th-year option, which is going to be around $20 million as the number 3 overall draft pick a few seasons ago. And Cooper Rush is a free agent, I want to say, either this year or the next year. So potentially the backup quarterback situation could be open and he could step in there. But as it stands right now, to me, he's pretty firmly the quarterback 3 on this roster. Maybe they have some packages out there at the goal line where he could come in and do a quarterback power or something like that. But outside of that, I'm not expecting Trey Lance to get really any playing time this year, barring a complete disaster to the quarterback 1 and quarterback 2 on this team. I was a bit surprised that the Cowboys were the team to go out and do it. Yeah. The only place he would have had a chance to have playing time would be Arizona, but you're not trading him in division, and the Bucks. But it seemed like they were pretty comfortable with Baker and Kyle Trask. So he was going to go be a backup wherever, but now he's a QB3.
Jerry Jones actually came out and said that they're fully intended on paying Dak.
Yep, so I guess just fuck it. 4th round pick.
I would like to hear from you because I've noticed you've been on Twitter trying to get that bread. And you've been tweeting. And you've been going crazy with the tweets. And I peeped.
What did you peep?
You having this Trey Lance agenda that all of a sudden he could do some things in Dallas, some
You
cute
actually
stuff.
tweeted that?
No, I didn't tweet he could do some things in Dallas.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. Do some things in Dallas, no, but I think Dallas is a great situation for him to learn the position.
It was a great situation.
I think the 49ers deserve a lot of credit for owning up to their mistake and getting rid of a distraction for their team. If Trey Lance was going to be on the 49ers every week, let's say Brock Purdy plays bad or has negative plays, whatever the case may be, the Trey Lance conversation is going to come up. And all offseason long, Kyle Shanahan was looking at the Jets' former 3rd overall pick and Sam Darnold and said, if Brock Purdy goes down at any time of the season, I want Sam Darnold to take over the reins and play. He won the battle over Trey Lance, and it was time for them to move on. Shanahan thought it was time to move on for him and for us. I think that's a perfect answer. They really moved on because they saved $5.4 million that they were going to have to pay him. The hardest part about this trade was, 1, getting a draft pick and then getting a team to take on this salary and pay it. The Cowboys are willing to pay that money for Trey Lance. 4th round pick is nothing. I was surprised to know that the Cowboys had a 2nd round grade on Trey Lance. They didn't have a 1st round top 10 pick grade on Trey Lance. They had a 2nd round grade, which means that I don't think there's much investment into Trey Lance. It's kind of just a shot in the dark. Dak Prescott last few seasons has missed 17 games overall, so sometimes he goes down. Cooper Rush is no doubt about it the quarterback too. He went 5-1 as a starter. He played somewhat well, so you give him the job. There's no doubt about that. And Jerry Jones has said there's no role for Trey Lance. Mike McCarthy, his background, his history, he has something called the McCarthy quarterback school. And a lot of great quarterbacks have looked back at that time and they have praised Mike McCarthy for those moments. You know, he's worked with Joe Montana, Rich Gannon, Matt Hasselbeck, of course, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Brooks with the Saints. Aaron Rodgers looked back at the quarterback school and said, that helped me become a better player. Those first 3 years were crucial to my success. I get it. It's Aaron Rodgers, doesn't hold much weight. He's a great player, whatever. But out of California, his mechanics were wonky. And those fixed up in the quarterback school when he was sitting behind Brett Favre. The real telltale sign of the success of the quarterback school is with Rich Gannon. In the mid-90s, he was on a team with Mike McCarthy. McCarthy was a quarterback coach. And Rich Gannon said, I've played 17 years, and I never had a quarterback coach like Mike. He was the best I ever had because at the end of the week, I felt like the most prepared on the field. After McCarthy coached him, he went on to be a 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, was an MVP of the league, one of the most random events to happen in NFL history. And then Matt Hasselbeck was a 6th-round pick for the Packers in training camp, wasn't even supposed to make the team. And he was the backup quarterback to Brett Favre. And Matt Hasselbeck credits that springboarding his career being in the quarterback school of McCarthy. And I look at the Cowboys. Cooper Rush is not physically talented, physically imposing. He doesn't have those traits, but he plays well. He plays within the system. Will Grier just had an amazing preseason performance. He's gotten better in his time with Dallas. Trey Lance might not play for the Cowboys because Dak Prescott's contract is done after 2024. And I guarantee you after this season, Dak Prescott is going to want an extension. I'm sorry. I meant to say his contract is up after 2025. Oh, no, 2024. My bad. I was right when I said that. Dak Prescott with 1 year one year left on his deal is going to want an extension. So there's going to be no room for Trey Lance to now up to March to really prove himself as the guy. But can he learn? Yes. Like when you watch Trey Lance on film, it's still evident that he's guessing what defenses are throwing at him. And his mechanics are still not there. His footwork is not there. With the Cowboys, all that can improve. And that's why I'm always against the notion that you don't necessarily have to play to get better. You can prepare for defenses. Instead of looking at receivers in the offense, you look at what defense is doing so you can counteract that. You're throwing to where the defense is telling you to throw to. So I think those are all areas that Trey Lance can improve in. Aaron Rodgers has said the quarterback school is a snail course, a snail's pace in football, and he's forever grateful for attending it. So I think that Trey Lance is going to develop in Dallas. I'm not sure if he's going to ever be the Cowboys quarterback, but in terms of a place to get better and to not have that pressure, I think Dallas is the perfect spot for him.
I'll tell you what, you wrapped that up perfectly by saying no pressure. There's no pressure on him in Dallas now. I apologize, King. Because all I could think of while you were speaking, talking about this quarterback guru or the quarterback class with McCarthy, is all I've heard is that Shanahan and the system, it's impossible to fail. You plug in any guy to come in there, he's able to do a job. We saw it with Jimmy G. We saw Beathard. We saw Nick Mullins go in there and have a little bit of success. We now see Sam Darnold come in, and now there's a little bit of hype behind him also. Of course, Mr. Irrelevant. I'll call him Mr. Irrelevant because that's all he's become in the past year. Now he's thrown himself from the last pick into the draft to being right now the Niners starting quarterback. But of course, Trey Lance, I say you saved it because, yes, I agree with you here. With the Cowboys, there is no pressure. You can sit behind Dak Prescott. You can learn a thing or two. McCarthy, yes, I take what you say, and I definitely process it. Sure, he could definitely benefit him, but you were supposed to be with the guy. There's been no one better than Kyle Shanahan over the last few seasons, let's be realistic, since he worked with Matt Ryan, that there's been no one better at helping to get better at the quarterback position than Kyle Shanahan, or at least make a system that is able to have the quarterback be put in a successful situation. And again, we can look at the numbers. Trey Lance on a very surface level, statistically, wasn't bad. He wasn't great by any means, but he definitely was not bad. You do look at the film this preseason, it was not anything good. But I agree with you. now getting out of that situation, now going to a new environment, getting to learn behind one of the league's best in Dak Prescott, that is definitely going to benefit Trey Lance. To me, I wrote it down very simple. Let's not overblown. This is getting a little bit overblown for me. The idea with Trey Lance coming here is more so, God forbid, Dak Prescott goes down because, again, like you mentioned, he's missed some time. He had the 1 year where he broke his ankle in this past season that he missed, I believe it was 5 games. It's a safety blanket. And even still, Cooper Rush is the backup. The only reason why this is really a story or a headline is because Trey Lance was the 3rd pick in the draft. There was expectations on Trey Lance's name. He's traded to a situation that they already have a fringe top 10 guy. That's it. The conversation ends for me right there. I don't have to think about Trey Lance potentially one day taking Dak's job. I'll never see a day where, at least I believe, that Trey Lance will be better than Dak Prescott. That's disrespectful to Dak Prescott. So, again, we can be happy for both parties. For the Niners now not having to worry about that. Now there's really no true controversy in there. They take that L. Yeah, we were wrong on Trey Lance. Hey, we got something out of that. We were able to get a 4th-round draft pick. And now if you're Trey Lance, new environment for me. I get a little bit of a fresh start. I may not have this opportunity right away, but like Joel said, there's going to be time for me to learn and grow as a quarterback.
What a tough 3-4 years it's been for Trey Lance, man. I was shocked when I saw the news. You know, I thought teams like Washington, who have an unknown in Sam Howell, teams like Arizona, no quarterback right now, Tampa Bay, I thought they would be calling. Even Atlanta, you know, to agree, like Ritter's their quarterback, but he's still, what are you going to get out of him? I thought they would maybe take a flyer at Trey Lance. I did not see Dallas being the ones that would be like,
No way.
fuck it. Let's grab him and let's
So
bring
the
him.
Bills were interested?
Yeah, that shit caught me off guard too, because what are
They
you?
were offering like a 6th or some shit. That
And
was a
their
really-
backup is Kyle Allen, so you know.
They don't have a good backup quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's a brother of Josh. That's really why he's there. But, you know,
Is he?
that's his brother.
Kyle Allen and Josh Allen related?
Nah, I don't know.
You got me like hell.
Yeah.
You got me like
No,
hell.
I'm just saying because they're the same last
I
name.
I know.
They might be those
I'm
sneaky
looking.
though.
I'm looking.
Double check that though.
I don't think they're related.
No way.
Okay.
No
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
No
yeah,
way.
good.
No way.
That would be a huge story.
The Bills put Matt Barkley on injured reserve. Kyle Allen to be back up.
So it was definitely interesting to see that Dallas made the move on Trey Lance. I do think he can learn a little bit. I still believe though, like you need to get reps in game. You need to be able to read and react as a quarterback. You need to be able to see things firsthand. You know, I think you still need to get that. And unfortunately, he probably won't get it in Dallas because Cooper Rush is the QB2, at least for this year, for a fact. And then Dak is going to be the quarterback. So he's going to kind of have to take that Geno Smith route and into the NFL where he just finds his way, and hopefully finds a spot that he can be a starter. You know, the Geno Smith route, low-key is an anomaly. Doesn't happen a lot. You know, it's definitely rare in itself. And even still, Trey Lance has he doesn't have any background information on his game. Even with Geno, we saw there was background information. He played. He wasn't good in the beginning. He learned, he developed, he got better. Trey Lance is still an unknown. He still can't do the simple things. And that's the start of being a quarterback, being able to do the simple things. Kyle Shanahan loves guys that can do the simple things. C.J. Beathard, Nick Mullins, Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, they were able to do the simple things.
Bravo.
Jimmy G
No doubt.
was the prime example of I'm just going to get the simple things done. Kyle Shanahan loves guys that can do that. And Trey Lance couldn't do that in his system. So, unfortunately, it just didn't work. It's just the shit they gave up for Lance is tough, man. They traded up for him. You know, they had a couple guys in between that pick and the pick they traded. Could have got some stoppers. I believe Michael Parsons was in between
Basically,
that pick.
everybody else
Yeah.
except Trey Lance would have been like,
Fine.
holy shit, you
Yeah.
added this guy to your team?
For
That
sure.
draft class
It's insane.
is one of the
Nuts.
greatest
Fucking
I'll
insane.
ever see.
And the Niners have admitted they fucked up. You
that
know,
first
they-
round.
they-
That first round.
Yeah, they admitted they fucked up, and it's okay. They fucked up. They still ended up making it to the Super Bowl, and they still ended up making it to the NFC Championship game. So it doesn't really matter. But I do think Trey Lance has to kind of like take that Geno Smith route and find his way in the NFL. I don't think he's going to find it with Dallas. Maybe he does improve. Maybe he does get better under Dak. But I don't think like
Geno Smith's an anomaly,
he
man.
no, it's not even. I don't think though. Like Mike McCarthy will even have like
The time.
the time because they're in Super Bowl winning mode. You know, he's locked
point,
in.
Riv.
I don't think he's going to have that much
It's a great
time
point.
as to tutor
Dedicate
the
facts.
QB3 while also managing the QB2 and then worry about QB1 every week. Like it's going to be just they're a Super Bowl contending team.
Honestly, you know who that's going to end up being put on, whether he wants to or not? Dak.
Mr. Dacky.
Dak's going to be the one that in practice, hey, bro, you could do this.
Yeah,
a little
I don't know
bit
if he
better.
wants to do. He's pretty locked in. He's like, I'm trying to win. Like,
No,
sometimes
for
that shit
sure,
probably
but you
gets
look.
aggravating.
Listen, yes, Rodgers is definitely older. He's in year 19, but you see, it's just respect to another player on your team. You want to help them get better. Not everyone takes that approach. Tannehill said, "Hey, it's not my job.
It's not
to help him."
And also, you got to think too. Like, it's not like what if.
But Dak is a true leader.
Yeah, I agree. But Dak also wants to win.
doubt.
Like that. I feel like that's
Absolutely.
too much to be like, I need you to train this guy and then help us win football on Sunday
It won't
nights.
be like outblown, like, yo, bro, let's go. Like, we'll go
sometimes-
early in the morning.
Dak-
It'd be more
Dak
so
will
in
probably
drills.
naturally-
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Sometimes
naturally
he be
do
locked
it.
in like, hold on, bro. Like I gotta.
The
gotta do his hip
Cowboys
thrust.
have already implemented the quarterback school into their practices. What they do is that before they go into drills with the running backs and receivers, they spend like 30 minutes just working on dropbacks and working on their footwork. It's really on Trey Lance to take advantage of those reps.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy isn't present for them. It's the offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach, the offensive assistant, the quality controls coach. But Mike McCarthy is going to have a relationship with Trey Lance, at least to a degree.
That boy stinks. He needs more than 30 minutes.
But you know what? We can give credit to Mike McCarthy. Dak, statistically, had his best year, not this past season by any means, but the year before that.
Shout out Kellen Moore. I think more than anything, though, Trey Lance, like, I'm happy he landed here because to me, he looked more comfortable and more confident as a rookie than he did in year 3 in a meaningless preseason game. It looked like, especially that first game, even that second game, he had some really bad decisions, but that first game he was out there, it looked like a dude who legitimately has not played football in like damn near his life. He could not read the field. Guys that were open, he was not throwing it to. He was escaping the pocket for no reason. He was missing throws. He legitimately looked uncomfortable every single snap he took, whether that's from not playing, whether that's from getting your job taken, whether
Breaking
that's from
your ankle.
breaking your ankle. You're in the trade rumors. Obviously, you get traded a couple weeks later. So there was a ton going on in San Francisco that could have led to it. Now, will Trey Lance ever become the guy that the Niners hoped or what a lot of scouts thought coming out? It seems unlikely at this point. I do think at some point in his career, I mean, he's still 23.
23. He'll get a shot.
There's quarterbacks in this past draft that are older than Trey Lance. So
Kenny
at
Pickett you're talking about.
yeah, well, 2 years ago, but yes, even Kenny Pickett is older than him.
Well, Levis and shit, yeah.
Yeah, so at some point he'll get an opportunity to battle in camp for a starting job. I don't know if it ever get handed to him, but for now, I think more than anything, it's a mental reset and try to get his confidence back.
Kyle Shanahan is a great offensive play caller. He's a great offensive mind. He's not really known for being a quarterback guru. He gets the best out of quarterbacks in his system, but he's never developed a
Let me
quarterback.
ask you, he worked with Kirk. He worked with Matt.
Moran.
He worked with Kirk for 1 year.
And Kirk was great.
Kirk, he wasn't great that 1 year.
Jimmy G had some interesting comments. I sent you guys the TikTok. Jimmy G basically saying, like, look how they treat quarterbacks over in San Francisco. I mean, it happened to him.
And that
'cause
coaching
injury.
staff in Washington was loaded.
It was special.
Shanahan,
It
it
was.
was
McVay.
Hey,
McVay, Kevin
McDaniel.
O'Connell.
Wasn't McDaniel on
Yes.
that one too?
Yep,
Also, no, that Washington crew was crazy.
But
How
I'm
they
just
managed
saying,
not to keep
Kyle
any of them?
Shanahan has
It's
never
nuts.
developed a quarterback. He's never drafted one, developed one, or even traded for one that was young.
Brock
and,
Purdy?
We're counting Brock.
and listen,
Stop. Don't. Stop. Just no comment. Just no
with
comment.
Trey Lance, when it comes to the offensive system that Shanahan runs, maybe I'm in the anomaly, but I think if he doesn't get hurt in his second season, he runs it just fine. I don't think he's getting benched or nothing.
agree.
I think he'll run it well.
And maybe
I have just a quick bone to pick with you because I saw you tweet out saying that the Niners and Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones all along, but the San Francisco media told them basically changed their mind. I thought we had this argument. I said that, and you said no. It was always Trey Lance.
I just said you don't know that for sure.
But you just tweeted that out.
No, I said you
Bro,
just
beat you
don't.
to the punch.
All I said is you don't know that for sure.
But you just also backed up my point.
Yeah, that's my opinion too.
Joel,
You just
It
don't
wasn't.
know,
It wasn't
don't
your.
know for sure.
It wasn't your opinion
You
2
just don't
weeks
know
ago.
for sure.
come on, Joel.
I saw that. I was like, I'm not even going to respond to
Joel,
this.
you're
on
better
Twitter.
than that.
But I was like, I had to bring it up.
But I always wanted Mac Jones to the Niners. That was the right pick.
I did know. I know that.
Yeah, that was
But-
the right pick.
What? Okay, but hear me out. What if Mac Jones?
I found it.
What?
Cowboys can move on from Dak after the 2024 season. Would they rather pay him $50 million or keep Trey Lance under a team-friendly deal?
Who wrote that?
Trading a mid-round pick for a potential franchise quarterback or even good quarterback is worth it, in my opinion.
It is. I mean, you're trading a 4th round pick for somebody that could be a starting quarterback.
That's what I was.
I
talking about.
definitely. I know what you mean, But any person that's just reading that, I can understand why they're taking it the way that Riv did.
I mean, Cowboys,
That's
they
why I
can
asked
move on from Dak. Will they? I don't think
Probably
they will.
not.
But
So
those
why'd
are
you don't think it's a
bad idea.
those are the options that are presented to them.
But you don't think it's a bad idea.
If they believe in Trey Lance and he's
Do you
But I
believe
asked
in
you
Trey
that.
Lance?
no, I don't. But if they do,
This guy would
I
just do
mean, it's just
anything
a-
to get a
it's
tweet off,
It's a fourth.
man.
It's a
told
fourth
you.
round pick.
No, he's messy.
I have a quick question because you said Mac Jones should have been the pick.
Yeah,
If-
He's back on that.
Because I'm just curious.
He should have been.
If Mac Jones was selected 3, he sits his
In
first
hindsight.
year like Trey Lance did.
I don't think he would have sat though. I think he would have played that first year. Yeah, I don't think
Question
he needed
depth?
to develop and sit.
That's what I'm saying. If any other quarterback and it's the same timeline,
Hey, Mac Jones
they could
did.
trade it.
He
I
did
think
win the
Fields
quarterback
sits
job
his
against
first year.
Cam Newton.
That's true. Yeah, I mean Cam ended up getting cut. But
No, for sure. But Jimmy G, it was Jimmy
Yeah,
G,
Jimmy G.
for sure. It's not insane to think that Mac Jones would have just been able to pick up the offense as quickly as he
definitely
did in
could've.
New England. And then preseason where he showed out in New England. It's not insane where, of course, hindsight is so crystal clear, but I'm just going by what I've saw and what history has shown us.
no, Mac definitely could have.
I think
year one.
because Mac wasn't raw, he probably could have. Because I think Fields would have sat, Lance sat. I think the raw quarterbacks with the physical traits, all the talent, the potential that's booming, but they're not as equipped to be prepared for a game of throwing the ball like Mac was. Mac could have started. Him and Jimmy G at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because Mac is just gonna be a better version. of
Jimmy G
What you're
did start that
describing-
year well, though.
Yeah, he
It was
did.
that-
He did.
he cooked.
That no,
Was it that? Yeah.
was it that year? No,
Yes.
it wasn't that year.
That he got injured. I think it was the Tennessee game.
He started the year off pretty poor and finished well down the stretch.
What year was that?
What game did he get injured then?
He
He
only
probably
missed,
did get- he
only
probably
missed
did get into the Tennessee game,
2 or
but
3 games.
That was
year.
2021, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was 20-12.
The 49ers had a win streak down the stretch of the season, if I'm not mistaken. What you're describing is an unfortunate situation, and that's what Lance was put in.
Yeah.